The battle between rogue judges and President Donald Trump is heating up. So are Tesla cars, apparently. Also, illegal immigrant Ilhan Omar has something to say against the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 that President Trump is using. And finally, France wants the Statue of Liberty back. I'm covering it all right here on American Advocates. Illegal alien Ilhan Omar has called to repeal the Aliens Enemy Act of 1798. Go figure. Take a look at this.
Repeal the outdated and dangerous Alien Enemies Act of 1798. The last time the Alien Enemies Act was invoked, it was used to detain and deport German, Japanese, Italian immigrants during World War II. One of the most shameful chapters of American history. Now, Stephen Miller and Donald Trump are preparing to dust off the law for their plan for mass deportation. This will be another moral stain on our country.
And what's important to note here is this act was signed into law in 1798, pretty much at the founding of our nation. Those were our founding years. In fact, the person who officially signed this act into law, the president, was John Adams. And right here we have a woman whose immigration status is hilariously questioned by Republicans. I'm not sure how true it is, but reportedly, she married her brother religiously to gain citizenship here. And here she is, of course, go figure, questioning the act and wanting to repeal it for instead some, well, we're all friends act, basically, is what they're calling it. Again, this is why the Liberal Party's approval rating continues to decline. They do not get it. Even people in their own party want deportations of this magnitude happening, especially people in their own party who live in southern border states. On top of that, they don't understand this is once again not the hill to die on, but the Democrats are so determined to fall on their own sword that they are arguing over gang members being deported from our nation and sent to an El Salvador prison. That's what they're arguing for. I can't even use the words on YouTube because I know YouTube does not like those words, but they are the highest atrocities known to mankind. Those are the kind of people being deported from this nation, and Democrats are upset about it. And to any of them arguing that the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 is some old bill that needs to be re-examined, so does the Constitution need to be re-examined too? That would be my question to you. Because guess what? That's an old one, and it's the oldest one. And nobody goes, oh, that's old. The Constitution, that's really old. We should probably re-examine that. No, it's old and it stands the test of time. And President Trump is acting within his authority using that law, which describes a very accurate scenario that we were invaded at the southern border especially. We were invaded during the Biden presidency. That's exactly what that was. All these gang members up here. And if you need any further proof of that, need I remind you of the incident in Colorado, was it? Where some gang members took over an entire apartment complex with assault rifles? We were invaded, and now President Trump is deporting them using this law. And I cannot believe that the Democrats want to die on this hill again. Their approval rating is going to drop another 2%. They're going to be down at 25% after a stunt like this. Tesla cars are on fire. This Tesla terrorism is showing no signs of stopping. Take a look at this. Worse yet, this anti-Tesla movement is being funded by Act Blue. And I'm telling you right now, when it comes to Act Blue, I've been slowly doing more and more research on them. And I think I'm going to dedicate an entire video topic to just Act Blue and its sheer levels of madness and corruption and fraud, because it is absolutely an insane thing to read about. I implore you to do your research on Act Blue. They are crazy. And examples like this with the Tesla cars being just set on fire. Look at how, in that clip I showed, look at how dangerous that is potentially to people who might be Democrats. There could be Democrat voters walking by something like that and a car explodes and they die. I mean, it's a very likely scenario. These people just, they're thoughtless. They have no capacity to think. All they do is run on emotions. It's a prime example of why Minnesota Republicans are trying to pass that bill to get Trump derangement syndrome labeled as an official mental illness. Because look at it. When actions like this happen, how can you argue against that? The Liberal Party is in shambles, and their voters are deranged. Now, this is news I only found out about from watching the White House press meeting live yesterday, but apparently there is a French member of parliament who is so dissatisfied with the current state of America and how we're acting and treating other nations in the world that he believes we should return the Statue of Liberty back to France. His name is Raphael Glucksmann, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name right, nor do I care, but Raphael, apparently, a member of the center-left party of France, go figure, has determined that America no longer represents the values that it had back at the time when the Statue of Liberty was given to us as a gift. So he is demanding it back. And like I said, I discovered this news live yesterday while watching the White House press meeting. Watch how Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt handles this question as a reporter brought it up. She handles it flawlessly. Check this out.
There is now a member of the European Parliament from France who does not think the U.S. represents the values of the Statue of Liberty anymore. They want the Statue of Liberty back. So is President Trump going to send the Statue of Liberty back to France?
Absolutely not. And my advice to that unnamed low-level French politician would be to remind them that it's only because of the United States of America that the French are not speaking German right now. So they should be very grateful to our great country.
When it comes to these European politicians, they have perfected the art of grandstanding against America. They know it's the popular thing to do over there. It's no different than how liberals virtue signal over here. They virtue signal over stuff that can never be achieved, but it's just the act of having to speak out against something. It keeps them busy, it makes them look good, or at least so they think it does. And it's just funny to see that the same traits in the Liberal Party overseas manifest the same way there that they do here. This is a woke mind virus, and the current entire world is going through this problem. And finally, this is our top story. It's been developing since over the weekend. It all started on Saturday when a district court judge from D.C., James Boasberg, decided to massively overstep his judiciary bounds and try to halt President Donald Trump from deporting a bunch of illegal aliens from the gang Tren de Aragua out of this country and into prison. The judge cited that he needed to further look into this Alien Enemies Act to see if it was being used properly, and he attempted to order that all planes, whether they were in the sky or not, turn back around and land in America, halting the deportation process of these dangerous gang members. Thankfully, that's not what happened at all. And while I do advocate most of the time that these judges' orders are upheld, the judge's power and influence when a president is acting on foreign affairs is at its lowest point. These judges have virtually no say when it comes to foreign affairs and the president's actions, especially when it comes to the president protecting his own American citizens against dangerous gang members who have invaded this nation. With all of this in mind, and with the fact that President Trump was relying on a law, no matter how old that law is, to justify his actions, this judge has no say over this. And Trump knew this, thankfully. He did not listen, basically responding with too late, which it was because the planes were in the air and landing at the prison already, so they're not turning around. This judge massively overstepped his role and was essentially trying to play president.
So first of all, there's a term in law, justiciable. This is not justiciable. In other words, this is not subject to judicial remedy. When the president is exercising his Article 2 powers to defend the country against an invasion or to repel a foreign terrorist that is unlawfully in the country, he's exercising his core Article 2 powers as commander-in-chief.
Imagine somebody in that position flying the plane, doing what they're told, ICE agents, all these people deciding to listen to a small district court judge over the president of the United States. It makes absolutely no sense. Come to find out, as the weekend came to a close yesterday, Monday, President Trump has been very angry about this entire scenario, calling for the impeachment of the judge. And things are continuing to heat up in this scenario as now Supreme Court Chief Justice has said that it's not up for President Trump to call for the impeachment of this judge. This story's still developing, but these judges, I'm on Trump's side wholeheartedly when it comes to these judges. They continue to massively overstep their judicial bounds and try to halt President Trump's actions when it comes to making this nation great again. This is not the first time that this happened. In fact, it's not even the 10th, 20th, 30th, 40th, 50th, 60th, 70th, 80th, 90th, or 100th time this has happened. This is happening to Trump right and left, and it always turns out they're appointees from the Biden or Obama administration. Go figure. But these judges are part of the swamp that Trump has always talked about, and that swamp needs draining. And Trump's not messing around. He had a lot to learn on his first presidential term. He didn't quite get the job done when it came to certain things, though he still did a good job. This time around, he's not green. He knows what he's doing. And these corrupt judges acting as activists from behind the bench, they need to be put on full notice. This is a much different Trump than from 2016. But what are your thoughts on all of these developing stories? Are liberals out of their minds? Are these small-time judges out of their bounds? Leave a comment down below.
Every day, the men and women of ICE are going to be in the neighborhoods of this nation arresting criminal, illegal alien, public safety threats, and national security threats. Lawrence, you're not going to stop us. We made a promise to the American people. The President Trump has made a promise to American people. We're going to make this country safe again. I wake up every morning loving my job because I work for the greatest president in the history of my life, and we're going to make this country safe again. I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.